What's up, Altered Youth? I'm making this video so that we can talk about leadership. I just want to take a quick moment and talk about leadership. What is leadership? Where do you begin to be a leader? We always talk about being a leader and what this means and how it means in our world today. And people use the word leadership in so many different ways. And so here at the Revival Center, leadership is a huge aspect of each and every one of our ministries. It takes leadership to build a team. It takes leadership to lead a team. And it simply takes leadership just to simply lead people to Jesus Christ. And so what we're going to do is we're going to hit some high points here in learning to lead like Jesus, this book right here. This is where we're going to start. This is what we're going to do. This is very first level elementary leadership. As we continue to make these videos every single week, I want to do it with you guys every Wednesday. Seeing how as we don't have service on Wednesday right now, we're doing it Tuesday nights at 6:30 in the big sanctuary. And so what I wanted to do with you guys is to do something different and make this video and do leadership teaching every single Wednesday so that you guys can join in and listen to this. And so, going through this book, the very first thing that I wanted to talk about is what is leadership? Where does true leadership begin? And when we look at this book and we begin to read it and we begin to look at the insight of what leadership is and how it begins, it says this right here: learning to lead like Jesus is a lifetime journey that begins with humility. Where does leadership start? Where does it begin? Leadership begins with a humble heart. You cannot become a leader until you have humbled yourself and are ready to become a leader with humility in your heart, ready to learn, ready to set aside the fact that you don't know every single thing and you may not know how to do every single thing that comes your direction. And so you must come with a humble heart. It is said by Charles Stanley, it is better to say, I am learning, than to say, I have learned. And that is coming from somebody that has been in church and has been a pastor for a very long time. And this is an example that the book uses. It says, I've learned to be a patient leader, and you should say, I am learning to be a patient leader, because you are always developing as a leader. You haven't learned everything yet. You haven't learned completely how to be patient, but you are learning to become patient. And so that's kind of where the word that we're going to start with today is simply the beginning of leadership is coming from a humble heart. And that is the word that I have for you guys today, and that's where we're going to kick this thing off. Next week we're going to continue to go through this, and I'm not going to take 45 minutes to make a video and talk through leadership, but I want to do little snippets here and there, hitting the high points of learning to lead like Jesus. And the first thing that you must do as a follower of Jesus and as a leader to lead people to Jesus and to lead people in ministry, to lead even people in this world, if you wanted to go into a corporate industry and you wanted to be a leader, you must go in there with a humble mindset. You must go in there knowing that you are going to learn something and that you simply do not know it all. Leaders do not go in with the sense of knowing everything. And so it takes a humble heart, it takes a humble soul to sit down and say, you know what, I may not know everything, but you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to learn, and I'm going to continue to learn how to do whatever it may be, because I want to be the best leader that I can be. And so, continue to tune in each and every Wednesday. Next Wednesday we'll go in even more depth, but I just kind of wanted to set the tone and show you guys what we're going to be doing and talk about, we're going to be going deep. We're going to be going deep into leadership. We're going to go through this book right here. And once we get done with this book and done with hitting the highlights of this every single week at Wednesday, then we may continue to move on. I don't know if you can see this sign behind me, but this is our leadership that we do here at Vincent Revival Center. This is our tree that we have. I know you guys can't see you up there at the top, This is where we're at right here. This is the 4 levels of leadership. Going for with level number 1 is salvation, is your relationship with Jesus, your foundation, and your servanthood to Christ. Are you a servant? Leaders don't just are not just the person at the top that just tells everybody what to do. No, it's by your actions people then begin to follow you, and you create influence for them to want to be with you, for them to want to follow along with you because of how you act, because of the way you lead, because you are a servant unto Christ. Moving on to level 2, the 21 Laws of Leadership. That's another book that would come after this book. Then level 3, you have your 5 levels of leadership. That is a whole nother book as well that we teach here at Vincent Revival Center. And then finally, level 4 is this the disciplines of execution, the 4 disciplines of execution. How do you execute a plan? How do you execute something within ministry, an event that you may be putting on? How do you do those things? And that's what those things will teach you. And then you go around the tree talking about skills, talking about the attributes and characteristics of a true leader. And just to kind of go around that tree real quick for y'all is delegation, communication, mentorship, vision and strategy, and then team building. Those are characteristics and skills that a leader must continue to work on with a humble heart. That's what we just talked about. Being humble and knowing that you don't know how to do each and every one of those things around the tree. The skills that you have. You may have the ability to do those things, but you not yet really truly know how to do them. And as a leader, you must then to begin to learn how to develop in each and every one of those skills and in those traits that a true leader must have to continue to lead wherever they may be, whether you're in the workforce or whether you're in ministry or whatever it may be. A leader must simply lead. Leaders lead. And that's where the basis of this comes from. And leaders lead with a humble heart. And so that's my word to you guys today about leadership. And like I said, next Wednesday, we're going to be doing another video talking about the next step of what do you do now? What do you do after you humble yourself, knowing that you need to be a humble leader? Where do you go now? How do you begin to learn? And how do you begin to learn like Jesus, or lead like Jesus did? We're gonna go through those steps. We're gonna look at Jesus's life, and we're gonna follow of how he led people, and that's how we are going to lead people as well. We're gonna take the example of Jesus. We're gonna look at Jesus, look at his attributes and his characteristics, and everything that he did to lead people, and we are going to follow that example, and we are going to lead like Jesus. Thank you guys. Hope you guys have a great day. And tune in for the rest of our stuff that's happening on social media as well. And then next Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. we will be we'll be having service here in the sanctuary. And it is going to be an incredible service. And then next Wednesday we will do our second leadership teaching. So tune in. Love you guys. Peace out.